If you're watching this video, you're probably like me. You have an entrepreneur spirit. Um, a lot of us have been placed in situations where we worked a job because we had to, but we are in a new era now that you can be who you want to be and you can do what you want to do. Um, Once I learned this, my whole life changed. I always knew that working a job didn't feel comfortable. Um, like I said, I was a teenage mom and I had two more children in my early 20s. And so, because of the urgency of needing to care for a family that soon, I had to get a job. I couldn't think about, things that I really, really wanted to do. But fast forward to now, looking back, had I known the things that I know now, I never would have worked a job. But also, like I said, we're in a new era now. And the reason why I thought about this is because I thought about a post that I seen a few years ago that said, it said it was supposed to be a funny post, and it said something like I was crying at your graduation just for you to be a DoorDasher. And the person that I seen put it up, I know that they actually have a degree and they have a successful career working for a major company. And I was like, okay, but I won't say I took offense to it, but I would say that I felt like they weren't in tune with reality, because at the time I actually was doing deliveries full time. And in fact, I had quit my job. Well, I won't say I quit my job, but I purposely got myself kind of terminated because I realized that I was making more doing Spark and Amazon Flex than I was working at the job. On top of that, I had way more freedom, and that's what I love the most. So that post made me think of all the people who are afraid to make money in that way, when it may really be able to propel them further in life. And the reason why I said that is because the first thing people say, so like, even though we're in a new time, we also have people that are stuck. So if you say something about, becoming an entrepreneur, people are always, or even if you say something like just doing deliveries or something like that, which we know is now popular in 2026, they'll say things like, oh, well, what about your 401k plan? What about your medical? You won't have, what about your car? All these miles and this, that, and third. I'm going to tell you what. Now, I don't, sorry about the stain on my shirt. I don't even worry at all. But I will say that, and that's just me, but I will say this, everything that you could possibly be worried about, they have it available for freelancers, for 1099 workers. You can get a 401k plan as low as $8 a month. All you gotta do it, it's at our fingertips. So gone are the days where you have to worry about all the little benefits of a job, because most of these jobs don't even pay for our necessities, let alone our wants. That was the situation that I was in. And I'll tell you what, by doing what I did in the way that I did it, I was able to sustain my household and have the freedom to be able to start a business. If I was tied to a job 8, 10, 12 hours a day, by the time I got finished and clocked out, I would not have been or had enough rest, or even had enough mental space to even work on a business. Some people can pull it off, but most of us can't. And that, I think, is part of one of the reasons why we have 8-hour, 10-hour, 12-hour work days. So that they can make sure that we are workers forever. You know, I have family members that worked jobs for over 30 years. You know, they dedicated pretty much half of their working years, or most of their working years, to a company, and now at this point are barely making it. People don't understand this. I will in on a lighter note, I will say the younger generation are starting to get it a little bit more. But this is for anybody who's on the fence, anybody who feel like, you know, maybe it's impossible, or maybe now's not the right time. I'll tell you what, it's never a right time. I took a tax check and started my business. I didn't have loans. I didn't have people I can borrow from. I didn't have any of that. I took literally a refund check and started my business. And, you know, I would never have been able to live like I live if I didn't make the choices that I made. I'm so grateful. I thank God nearly every day. No, I won't even say nearly every day. I thank God literally every day, when I think about it, multiple times a day, for the freedom to be able to do what I want when I want, to be able to live free, to be able to live an easy life. Oh, I thought one of my boys were coming out. I thank God every day. And I told my daughter the other day, I'm able to actually feel the freedom and feel the easy life because I know what chaos is. I know the hustle and bustle. I was working from home for about 15 years and still had to hustle and bustle. I still had to be in my office at my house and clock in and clock out at a certain time. I still had to ask if I can take off for vacation. I still had to ask if I could take off to go, to a school event. Or if I was sick, I had to ask, can I clock out? Permission. Now, I'm not knocking anybody, because we all do what we have to do when we have to do it. If I had to get a job and that was the last resort, I would do it again today. However, it would have to be a dire situation for me to go there. Literally a dire situation. Because as long as they have these apps where you can make money and I can have my freedom, that is going to always be my go-to if I am in a crunch. And then not only that, but when you do these apps, you don't even have to wait for your money. I mean, I was working and had to wait 2 weeks to get paid. You know how many things come up within 2 weeks? It was only God who carried me through all those years. But when you have, again, we've been presented with opportunities that we don't even have to, subject ourselves to those things. And I've talked to a lot of people over the years, and, I've tried to explain, and it's like all this pushback. Well, what about my car? Well, baby, I'm going to tell you what. Every time I needed a car, God worked it out. Literally every single time. And on top of the fact that I've never lost something and God didn't replace it with something better. So I don't worry about that. Yes, you can put a lot of miles on your car. Yes, you can do it. And then on top of that, now is so many opportunities that you don't even need to leave your house to make money. You can sell an ebook. Now they have opportunities where people are just literally on the phone so that they can train the AI, getting paid to just talk on the phone. The opportunities now are endless. It's a matter of if you're afraid or not. And I used to hear this saying. It said, if you have faith in God, then there's no room for fear. And if you're fearful, then you don't have too much faith in God. And I believe that to be true. Now, we are still human. Do I ever get in situations where I feel a little tiny sense of fear. Sometimes, but not often. Not like I used to at all. At all. Because I can't think of one situation that I've been in that God didn't work it out. Not one. And you can't either. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because it was on my mind. And go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you guys later.